Hi there, my name is Michelle. Today we will have a 60-minute yin practice focused on the stomach and the spleen meridians. So as we work on the stomach and spleen, this will help to balance out our body with a focus on digestion. So today I have a bolster and 2 blocks as props. Props are not necessary in this practice today, so most of the poses won't require them. If you do feel like you may need a little support, then go ahead and grab some props that work for you. To begin, we will start on our stomachs. So lying on your belly, you can place one hand on top of the other, allowing the forehead to rest there. That's how we'll begin. And taking the left knee, dragging it out on the floor up to hip height. The inside of the foot, so the inside blade of the left foot, will be on the ground. So we just drug it up to hip height. Noticing if you need to adjust. So maybe for more intensity, you bring the knee up higher. Maybe for less intensity, you bring the knee down a little bit lower. You always have the option if you'd like to extend that leg straight as well. Once you've settled here, notice if you feel comfortable, if you need to make any adjustments. Lastly, if you would like to add a shoulder stretch, placing the right hand on the ground just so you can briefly press yourself up. You'll thread the left arm through over to the right side with the left palm facing up. And then you can go ahead and allow the head to rest back down just on the right hand. If you took that left arm underneath your body, slowly drawing it out, placing the left palm on top of the right hand, we'll slowly drag that left knee back next to the right one. Forehead resting on the palms. See if you can pause here, just noticing how that left hip feels. If it feels right for you, maybe you find movement. You could bend the knees, windshield wiper the legs, or maybe you just let the hips rock side to side. Pausing with the legs long. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So dragging the right knee up to the side by your hip. Again, the inside blade of the right foot is on the ground. Seeing if you need to make adjustments. So maybe the right knee comes higher, maybe it comes lower. Again, option to straighten the right leg if that feels good for you. If you added that optional shoulder stretch on the other side, consider taking it here as well. So pressing the left hand, so lifting your torso up, just so you can thread the right hand through. The palm is on the back of the palm is on the ground. The back of the hand is on the ground. The palm is facing up. Lowering yourself down. You can then place that left hand down on the ground in front of you for your forehead to rest. If you threaded that hand, pressing yourself up, just so you can remove it, placing the right hand on top of the left one. And slowly bringing that right knee so it lines back up with the left. Again, pausing for a moment. Noticing the sensations now in the right hip. Maybe you rock the hips side to side. Maybe you windshield wiper the legs. Placing the hands under your shoulders, we'll press up to a tabletop position. And then tucking the toes, sending the hips up high to the sky, downward facing dog. We will take the right foot and step it between your hands, or maybe to the outside of the right hand, whatever is easier for you. We'll heel toe the right foot out to the right side. So both hands are inside that right foot. Dropping the left knee down, untucking the toes. So you can stay right here for dragon pose. If you have the space, maybe your forearms come down onto the mat as well, or maybe they come onto blocks. So yogi's choice if you want to come down or if you want to stay up. Again, noticing if you need to make any adjustments, if you need to move that left knee a little bit back, a little more forward. Maybe you soften your gaze a bit. For the last minute in this pose, if you like, you can drop the right knee a little out to the right side, opening up a little bit further. So I know you can't see, let me sit up for a minute. So you can take the hand and you can press the leg open. So that way you're on the outside blade of the right foot. Just an option, so your choice. If you let that knee fall out to the side, bringing the right foot flat. Again, maybe you heel toe the foot in between your hands, tucking the left toes, sending the hips up, step that right foot back, downward facing dog. Again, pausing for a moment. Noticing sensations in both of your hips, maybe in your hip flexors. I invite you to walk your dog if you'd like to bend one knee and then the other. letting the heels melt down towards the ground. We'll look between our hands and step the left foot forward. Again, heel toeing the foot out to the left side, so both hands are inside the left foot, dropping the back knee down, staying right here. Or option to come down to the forearms or to blocks. Again, maybe softening the gaze. Noticing intense sensations in your hips, maybe your hip flexors. Breathing into those spaces. Notice if you're squeezing your glutes. If so, see if you can soften and release them. When you do that, maybe you fall a little bit deeper into the stretch. If you took the option to drop to the outside blade of the foot, you can do the same thing here as well. So letting that left knee dip down, so it's going away from your body. So the bottom of that left foot would be facing your hand. If you let the knee fall out to the side, bring it back so your foot is flat. Maybe you heel toe the foot towards the middle between the hands, tucking the back toes, stepping that left foot back, again, downward facing dog. Resisting the urge to take movement, just feeling the blood flow as it comes back into the hips. Now, if you want, you could find some movement. Maybe you lift a leg and then the other. Maybe you just sway it side to side. Dropping both knees down towards the mat. We'll take a brief child's pose, sinking the hips back over the heels. Maybe the arms extend out long. If you prefer, maybe you take it with the hands down by your sides. So yogi's choice. It's always yogi's choice.
It's up to you what you want to do on your mat. And every day is different. If you brought your hands beside you, bringing them in front, rising up to tabletop, bringing the knees closer together, keeping the toes so that they're untucked, sinking the hips back over your heels. We'll take a little ankle stretch here. You can stay right where you're at, sitting up tall, and even finding a little bit of a lift in your chest so you get a little bit of a back bend in your spine. Maybe you stay here. If you need additional sensation, your hands will come back by your feet, and then you lift the knees up off the floor, keeping the chest lifted, so not rounding the spine. If sitting here is too intense on the ankles, let the hands come a little bit forward so not all the weight is back on the feet, allowing some more weight into the shins of the knees. So finding the space, finding your breath. Placing your hands on the ground by your knees, walking out to tabletop, and we'll continue walking the hands all the way out, coming down onto your bellies, placing one hand on top of the other, allowing your forehead to rest. This time, tuck the toes. So tuck the toes under, getting a little stretch across the bottoms of your feet. So we are actively engaging the quadriceps here. So your knees are lifted off of the mat. And then gently letting the knees come down. Maybe you bend so the feet come up. Option here to roll around the ankles. Maybe point and flex the feet. So finding some movement, bringing life back into the ankles. Allowing the tops of the feet to rest on the mat. Pressing our forearms into the ground so that the elbows are under the shoulders or maybe slightly forward. Lifting the chest, drawing the shoulder blades together. So we'll pause here in our Sphinx pose. Tops of the feet, tops of the thighs, pressing down into the ground, allowing the belly to be soft and hang heavy. Option here to place a block under your forehead if you'd like it to rest. Noticing if you're holding on to anything that you're gripping, if you're clenching your jaw. See if you can find some release. With our last minute, you can remain here or maybe pressing onto your hands, letting the forearms come up, finding a seal pose. Whatever version you're taking, you're still drawing the shoulders together, opening up the heart space. If you're on the hands, lowering to the forearms, placing one hand on top of the other, allowing the head to rest, resisting any urge to move just for a moment. Placing the hands under the shoulders, pressing up to tabletop. If you would like some cats and cows, Maybe taking a few cats and cows. It could feel nice to hold that cat for a few extra breaths. If there are other movements that would feel good in your body, you could take other movements as well. Once you're finished, coming down into a seated position, extending the legs out long, then bringing the legs wide. So I will turn to face you. So noticing what the best space is between your legs. So maybe they come a little bit closer together. Maybe they're only max width apart or a little bit wider. So you want your toes to still be facing up. If your toes are starting to turn inward or outward, then you may have gone too far. Just bring the legs a little bit closer together. So you may want a bolster or a block to place in front of you. If so, go ahead and grab that now. And when you're ready, you'll crawl the fingertips forward, allowing the chest and heart to come down towards the ground. Once you've gone as far as you can, allowing the head to come down. Again, this is where that bolster or block could be nice. Or maybe you even take one fist on top of the other and allow your head to rest there. Maybe as you hold this pose, you notice that you can settle in a little bit deeper. So maybe you walk the fingertips a little bit more forward, and maybe you allow yourself to fold, coming closer to the ground. You can stay right where you're at. Or if you like, maybe you walk the hands over towards the right leg. Again, just an option. You can stay folding right between both legs if that feels good. If you walk the hands over to the right side, walking the hands back through center and over to the left. Folding over that left leg, we're still folding through center. You came over towards the left leg, walking the hands back through center, and slowly walking the hands in towards your body, sitting up. Taking the legs, slowly drawing them together. They're extended out long in front of you, and pausing for a moment. Feeling the sensations on the insides of your thighs, maybe the backs of your knees. Just feeling the fluid as it rushes back into those spaces. If you want, maybe you find some movement, bending one knee a little bit and the other. If it feels better, maybe you lean back so that your feet can come flat. Maybe you allow the knees to just touch. Or maybe you rock side to side. Some of us prefer the stillness, some of us prefer the movement. So see what works best in your body. Extending the legs out long. Keeping the left leg where it is. We're taking the right leg, we're crossing it over the left, and then we'll bend that right leg back a little bit. So the right knee will be stacked over the left one, and then you have that right foot
facing the back of the mat. You can stay right here. If you feel like you need more sensation, bend the left knee, so bringing it over towards the right side. Again, trying to stack one knee over top of the other. And then the feet are facing opposite directions. See if you can get both sits bones kind of evenly distributed. If this became too intense, straighten that bottom left leg out. You can sit up tall, holding on to the ankles, holding on to the feet. If you want more sensation, you can walk the hands out in front of you and fold over those knees. So listen to what your body says it wants in this moment. I'm going to stay upright because this is enough for my hips. So feeling those sits bones settle down onto the ground. You're sitting up tall. Go ahead and let the shoulders just melt away from the ears. If you folded forward, slowly coming up. Extending that bottom left leg if it's not already extended. Extending the right leg, so bringing them towards one another. Pausing for a moment. And then we'll switch sides. So bringing the left one on top. Again, maybe you stay right here. So noticing how one side is different than the other. If again you still need more, taking the right leg, which is on the bottom, taking it out to the left side. Again, adjusting as you need to adjust, feeling both sits bones rooted down onto the mat. Staying here. Again, taking the option potentially to fold forward. If you're sitting straight up, lengthening the spine, so crown of the head reaching high to the sky, in the opposite direction of those tailbones that are rooting down in towards the mat. So you're lifting up and rooting down at the same time. If you fold it forward, slowly rising up. Extending the bottom right leg, if it's not already extended. Extending the left leg. Pausing here for a moment. Like all the other poses, when we come out, noticing that rebound effect. Noticing the sensations as we unconstrict the parts of the body that we constricted when holding that pose for so long. With the legs extended, maybe we reach the arms up overhead and fold it forward just for a few nice long breaths. So not rounding the spine this time, but keeping it lengthened. Rising up. Again, if you want your hands behind you, maybe you flatten the feet, knees come up. You can rock it side to side. Or maybe bring the feet wide, let the knees touch. And just pause.
Bringing the feet hips width apart, we'll roll down onto our back. Once you arrive, hugging both knees into the chest. So drawing little circles with the knees. Taking it in the opposite direction. Keep the right knee in towards your chest, allowing the left leg to extend long. Your left hand comes to the outside of that right leg and cross the right leg over your body so the knee comes down towards the ground. So maybe the knee is hovering, maybe you place it on a block. Maybe you take that right foot away from the left leg so you have more of that right leg on the ground. So you can stay here. Maybe you extend the right arm out. Maybe you try to gaze over at the fingertips. Or maybe you simply gaze over the right shoulder. Drawing the knee back in towards your chest. Roll onto your back. Keep a hold of the right knee and drawing the left knee up. Finding those circles again, so moving the knees around. Feeling the sacrum press into the mat. Taking opposite direction with those circles. Keep a hold of the left knee, extend the right leg out long, letting it rest on the ground, crossing the left leg over towards the right side. Again, maybe that knee hovers, maybe it's resting on a block. Maybe you let that whole left leg come down to the ground. Maybe you gaze over the left shoulder. Maybe you extend the left arm out.
Drawing that left knee in towards your chest, rolling onto the back, hugging the right knee in one more time, drawing circles with those knees. Reversing direction. If you want, maybe you take a big squeeze in, lifting your head so that your nose and knees can connect. Extending the legs out long, bringing them wide. Arms are down by your sides. Enjoying your next few moments in Shavasana, our final rest. Bringing some awareness back to your body. Introducing small movements into your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Maybe moving your head side to side. Bending your knees so your feet are flat on the mat. And then rolling onto your favorite side. Pausing for a moment. Maybe using your arms as a pillow for your head. Pressing yourself up to a seated position. Maybe you close your eyes or soften your gaze. Letting the hands rest on the knees, palms can face up to receive energy, or maybe they face down for grounding. Noticing just one last time how your body feels. Noticing any extra space you created. Noticing if you feel a little more balanced than when you began your practice. Bringing the hands together at heart center. Palms to touch, thumb knuckles pressing into your chest. Dipping your chin just a bit. Thank you for joining me and allowing me to guide you through your practice. The light in me sees and honors the divine light in each and every one of you. We bring our hands up to third eye center and bow to one another. Namaste.